So
I do.
I can't see if we're live. I have the wrong glasses on. So
well, that's fun. We are live.
Okay, well, we are live. Live. And we're live on a day where I learned that Rainbow Bridge has been Annie nominated. If you don't know what an Annie award, spelled all caps, ENNIE, it's a gaming award. And it's not Rainbow Bridge all by itself. It's actually part of the Level 1 anthology for 2023 that Ninth Level Games does every year as part of Free RPG Day. So basically, they curate a collection of really fun, like easy to pick up games off of a theme every year. And then that is distributed to gaming stores across the country on, I believe it's June 22nd every year, as like a little freebie to introduce people to gaming, to like, just go in and get some stuff and like check out new creators. And Rainbow Bridge got in last year because the theme was death in the afterlife. I mean, right up my wheelhouse. And this year it has been nominated at, I think, Gen Con for an Annie Award. Hopefully the whole thing wins. We'll see. So far, I've gotten a lot of nominations for anthologies I'm in. No full wins, but there is yet time. Okay, so if I seem a little bit more chipper and there's a pep in my step, I'm still kind of floating high off of that, honestly. Yay! Okay, so we are going to be doing this for a little while, like at the first live stream, patron stream for every month. We're going to go over the new stuff that will be on the collectibles page. There's a lot of stuff to put in the collectibles page. Some of it more collectible than others. There's some nifty little grab bags and things that are getting put together. Why don't I get into some of the stuff that's there? And if I trip, Rhea is like right here, unwisely, like right up against my ankle. So she's not the smartest cat. Okay, so there are a couple of t-shirt things that are rarities. You cannot get these anymore. So this one is size medium. This is from the Paranormal Research Society. And it is the Further Without Fear design. This would be probably circa 2010 or 2009. It's got writing on the back. Let me read it on the back. It says, Paranormal Research Society, like one that on a lonesome road doth walk in fear and dread, and having once turned round and walks on, and turns no more his head, because he knows a frightful fiend doth close behind him tread. No attribution. I know that that's somebody's poetry. I want to say Robert Frost, and it's way too hacky to be Frost. Anyway, somebody thought that was a good idea to put on the back. And here is the art. It's got a very Exorcist feel to it. I forget who the artist for these was. They were various, I think. They used to be available in the shop that was at the Paranormal Research Center in State College. So this one will be going up, but there's more. If you were a Paranormal State fan, you know Dead Time. Proposed at 3 a.m., it turned into pretty much just the time that we sat quietly to do our investigation. And, TV being TV, it turned into a buzzword. So this is a hoodie, also medium. This one doesn't have anything fancy on the back, but it is, again, from the gift shop. You cannot get these anymore, to my knowledge, and this was mine. They gave ones to various cast and crew. So Dead Time hoodie, size medium. This one is not explicitly Paranormal State, but it was given to me for one of the episodes that we filmed, Old City Jail. So everybody who was there at that episode in Charlotte, North Carolina, I believe, got one of these. This one is a extra large. because they just sort of handed them out willy-nilly to people. But extra large, I survived Old City Jail. This was a gift from the Old City Jail folks to those of us who came and did our little investigation for Paranormal State.
Well, to those of you who survived.
Fair.
Hopefully that was the whole crew.
Yeah, this one is medium, ladies cut, really tight capped sleeves.
That looks like a really small medium.
It's a small medium. Like, I would actually say that this is more of a small. Parafest was a very short-lived paranormal festival. It was at Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. It lasted exactly once. We will not go into the way it went down in flames due to mismanagement, but the t-shirts were cool. I was there with Taddy and Katrina and a whole bunch of other folks. So this one is going up on the selling rack as well. The fun thing with t-shirts is you can cut them up and turn them into quilts. You can frame them, you can do whatever you want with them, even if you can't wear them. So those will go in the list. Oh, all right. What else do we have? Oh, okay. This has been kicking around my house. I almost need hot water.
Yeah. I can, you know what?
Yeah,
I'll go heat some water now.
We will heat some water so you can see what this is. When Paranormal State first launched, they did some really unusual, at the time, promotions. And this was one of the things that was in the swag bag for a bunch of folks. Those of us on the cast and crew got one too. It is a color-changing mug. And it will go from black to white. And underneath it is that classic Paranormal State logo with the letters that look like people. And it bleeds down to white if you put hot water in it. Do not use it as a teacup. The reason you can't get these anymore is they recalled them because there was some question about the content of what all is in it to make it color changing. So this is purely for you to put on your shelf, to show off to friends. Do not drink out of it. I've not drunk out of it. The minute that they were like, we think it's got a high lead content or something, so just don't. Don't. It is not meant for food. It is not.
That's not good.
But you cannot get these anymore. They were a one-off and they were recalled. So this exists as just a one-time collectible. I still have no idea what I'm going to price it as, but we'll see. Okay. Oh, what else?
What's next from the shelf?
Oh, little drink. There's a bunch of stuff behind me, which I know that the lighting in here isn't great. We are not in the garage because it's hot as balls, and I would prefer not to just be like, oh, please light, it burns, the burn. There are several things from Paranormal State, from Inspiration House kicking around here, some of which are more like ritually meaningful than others. But some are just like things that people left behind or left as gifts to the house. So here is a collection of sprays and scented oils. Someone left this one behind. It is by Wicked Good Coventry Creations. Easy Street oil, so it's a money drawing oil that somebody left behind. These two are Reflection and Invigorate. I bought these myself. I believe they were from Mountain Rose Herbs, and I got them to clear the space after we did gatherings and after we had classes, or like if we walked in and we cleaned it and people had been up to some funky stuff and it just sort of felt a little weird. They are aroma sprays. Invigorate has, let me see. Invigorate is distilled water, witch hazel extract, fresh ginger essential oil, cedarwood, rosemary, black pepper, spearmint, all certified organic. Mountain Rose Herbs is a fantastic resource. I get most of my herbs and stuff from them. Reflection is meant for meditation and for clearing the space. Again, the base is distilled water and witch hazel extract, frankincense, palma rosa, davana, and vetiver. And I read those off just in case you're allergic to anything and you totally can't use it. This one does not have the same thing beyond this is a hand blended oil shaken up before use. Um, so, there's those. It is not the world's tiniest violin, but it is a little violin. This was actually a gift from my mom. And because like she was a violinist, there was a whole sort of thing. And, you know, she didn't give me her violin at the time. She did leave me her violin, but this was a memento to remember the years when she would play. Oh God. So my tiny years, my tiny childhood years, she was practicing Rachmaninoff and Vivaldi. Vivaldi is the one that I remember the most, Four Seasons. And I'd be on my rocking horse and she would just be playing that, or like she knew that I was really into the Lone Ranger TV show. So she'd just like, ba-dum, 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 and I would just like Lone Ranger my way on the rocking horse at like 3.5, 4 years old to my mom serenading me on her violin. So yeah, no, this is just a mom mento. Also, it's just really cute.
It looks like it's designed to be an ornament.
Yeah, no, I think it was meant to be like a Christmas tree ornament, but I have cats. Even if I wanted a Christmas tree, I have more sense than having a Christmas tree. Like that's just not something you want to do with cats. Or at least I would rather not have I'd rather not be that mad at the cats. Anyway, so and yes, it is meant to hang up on things. So many fun things. Actually, this is something that is Illyria's that I think folks would find really neat. This is a little scroll. It has a leather wrap and a leather exterior, and inside is a collection of just some parchment paper. We had it up at Inspiration House, I think, for people to take notes if they wanted. It would be perfect for like a little personal meditation or spell book. It is purple if you can't see it in this light. If leather is not your thing, this is not the thing for you. It has a nice little like wooden scroll bit that it is on. That will also be going up. Nothing has been written on it yet. It is open for your inspiration. Rhea, swear to God.
I think she's chasing figments of her own imagination. She's just like squirming her way around the floor. She's a very strange cat.
She is. She really, really is. Oh, let's see. Oh, this one's fun because I don't think I ever talked about why this was even over at Inspiration House. So I forget which pagan elder from the Cleveland area, it might have been somebody from Pittsburgh, who gave me this coin as a good luck charm when I was in college. Like I was a freshman in college. And I got like a mala with these little wooden beads with Asian characters on them. Do not ask me to tell you what they mean or if they mean anything. But it was hanging up as a protective spell in my apartment and my dorm room throughout the 4 years of college. And I have held on to it since. It has followed me around from various places. And it is, the coin has a dragon on one side and a phoenix on the other. And then some Chinese characters. Yeah, old nifty coin, but the real significance was it was given to me to be used as protection, and I put a lot of work into it for just using it. It usually hung near a door, just sort of like up by the door jamb, as a way of just sort of like letting stuff pass in and out. The additional thing with it being a coin was also to have prosperity come into the space. So protection and prosperity charm. Ba, 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 ba. So many fun things. Okay, this one's a little silly. So I forget which convention it was at. I think it was one of the ones in Chicago. Possibly concentric, possibly consanguinity. That I was there. They wanted to do a vampire photo shoot, and there was a fang maker, but they weren't the like make caps for your teeth. This person did like the full like dental attachment. So they sat me down and they made vampire fangs for me, which I have frequently referred to as Dracula's dentures. I gotta honestly say, like they fit for about 2 hours, and then just stopped fitting, like the way they cured. So never. I wore them once for like a shoot at the convention, hung on to them because they were a nifty sort of keepsake. But these are a set of fangs from 1998, back on the convention circuits. So Dracula's dentures. And yes, they were worn once. No, it was so disappointing because I was like, those look kind of, that's a weird way of doing that. Everybody I know uses like Lee press-on nails and then like makes caps around them and like uses those as a, nope, this is just a full frontal, like a bridge. Okay, that's weird. But I mean, it makes a neat prop.
I guess so.
So that will be going up. Do you think the water's hot?
Yes, it should have boiled by now. Let me grab.
Bring the water in so they can see the color change on the camera. Do 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 do. Okay. And again,
the water.
Don't drink out of it. Should I lower this a bit?
Yeah, you are very tall.
Sorry.
And my arm hurts.
That's probably good. Okay. Let's see how long it takes.
We didn't pre-test this.
Oh, no, it's already going.
Wow, that's so cool. Wait, that's so cool. I'm taking a picture. Whoa.
Ta-da!
Good to know also that it...
Yeah, don't drink out of it.
Yeah, not for consumption.
Yeah, it has
so neat.
the tagline, the original thing, which was, it's not your imagination. The significance of the it's not your imagination in...
Other than the Cranberry song.
No, in Manhattan and several other locations. I'm not sure if they did it in LA, but I know that they did it in New York City. They used a new technology at the time, so that wherever there was a paranormal state, like billboard, you would hear whispers.
Whoa.
And they bounced in such a way that you couldn't tell the directionality of the whispers. So you would walk by these things and be haunted.
Oh my gosh. That's actually really creepy.
It was. I'm not sure people are allowed to do it anymore. It was a like groundbreaking thing. Don't pour the water back in there, please.
No,
just as a like.
No.
Yeah. Yes. I'd rather not be poisoned.
No.
Anyway, so you would go by the paranormal state like first launch billboards, and you'd hear like, it's not your imagination, and it would bounce between your ears. So that was a whole thing. Like it was pretty fancy at the time. And slowly it will go back to being an old black mug. Although frankly, it's old enough that it's a little bit more like charcoal gray. But paranormal state. Okay, there's that. Oof. No magical significance to this. It was a gift. It is a little sake set. It's ceramic. It is kind of a charcoal gray or a graphite. 2 little mugs.
They're tiny.
Imported. But so that will go up. It's just been sitting around. I think I've used the mugs in some ritual stuff before, but like not
since we got inspiration.
Yeah, and the items themselves, like they were more items of convenience. They were not specifically magicked or charmed themselves. They just happened to be like the right size and shape for something. And I'll be honest, this has done duty as a flower pot. like I've
or like a vase.
Yeah, like a vase.
Yeah, actually, it's
perfect as a vase.
Yeah.
Ozzy's gonna face plant into those, aren't you? Yep.
That's why I was thinking the map.
Yep. Okay.
You do occasionally read my mind.
Once in a while. A few times.
Oh.
Okay, so we've got the hoodie, the t-shirts, those things. Is there anything up here that you're like, Zosh, talk about this?
Yeah, so there's a bunch of papers down on the shelf that you haven't touched yet. And there's a bunch of pictures, and there's a box full of chalk.
Oh, yes. Okay, chalk box. We never did figure this out. If you recall, when we first got Inspiration House, there were a couple of weird mysteries, and maybe they were just quirks from the previous owners. One was the profusion of little selenite rods over doorways and windows and in the four corners of the dining room. The other thing was chalk. There was a lot of chalk. There was chalk in a lot of drawers. And then on top of that, we found this whole thing, which is just like, it's like, I don't even know where the box is from. I think it was probably for a candle. And it is chock full of chalk.
Oh my god.
So with the amount of chalk that was in the house, I did genuinely start going around in corners, especially in the basement, to see if anybody had been drawing summoning circles or drawing protective wards, because that is one use of chalk. There were several people who had suggested that the chalk in the drawers was there to suck up humidity to like prevent silver and stuff from tarnishing. But that seems to be like thrown out the window of like, here, have a whole ton of chalk. Notably, these were not teachers, no elementary school teachers. I don't know if it was something for somebody's craft projects. It is really a lot of chalk. You can solve the mystery yourself. Maybe if you've got psychometry, you could figure it out. It's just been sitting there in the display case of box of chalk. Why though?
Nobody knows.
No, seriously, nobody knows. Oh, all of the little things. Oh, yeah. Okay. So this, you may have seen this on a couple of episodes. Probably not Paranormal State, but Portals to Hell. I have a new one that I made, but there are a few episodes where you will see me with a mala that I'm holding. So I started having problems. I mean, this actually went all the way back to Paranormal State days, where when I first go into a location, like I'm ridiculously psychic, and I read everyone and everything, including the living, including the location, the land, the spirit, like all of it. Occasionally, especially if I'm like really kind of getting my bearings with a new group of people, I will read the living people first without meaning to. And sometimes that leads to on-camera moments of vulnerability and invasion of privacy that I did not intend. So in order to try to focus my perceptions to the dead specifically, when I went to these locations, I got a little charm of bone. This is not human bone. This is ox bone. The reason I know that these bone beads and malas exist is back in college when I was a comparative religious studies scholar, my professor of Asian religion, particularly Hinduism, introduced me to this really cool necklace that had 106 bone beads in the shape of skulls on it, each for one of the different names of Lord Shiva. And like it had an appeal to me. There's a whole thing about Shiva Nataraja, which is an icon of this Lord of destruction and rebirth and recreation, he's dancing in a wheel of fire. He's got like the drum of time in one hand. One hand is in this gesture of like be peace and be not afraid. He's standing on a being who represents chaos. One foot is in the air. And the other thing that appealed to me personally with Shiva is one of Shiva's forms is intersex. Half male, half female, and neither at the same time. So Shiva is this union of opposites, which spoke very deeply to me. And it just so happened that the Cleveland Museum of Art has this enormous Shiva Nataraja statue. So this was something that appealed to me, and I resonated with the little bone beads and knew where to get them. This one is just a small little bone bead mala. It has been used on camera. If you look really carefully, you'll probably see a couple of episodes that it's in. And I am going to be putting up on the page. Still going. The only way to get this to go back quickly would be to put cold water in it. It's a heat change thing. Mm-hmm. Well, I noticed as soon as I came upstairs and was in the garage, it was going to be like, oh, asthma day, because all the mugginess. Okay, papers. Oh, yeah. I've been making funky stuff, and often the intersection of games, divination, and spell work since. Let me check the back of it. This one's 1989. So this is a tablet of the Sibyl. There was one of my like baby witch divination books talked about a kind of parlor game that they would do in Victorian times where you had a pendulum and you had like a little wheel and you broke it up into numerical bits, and wherever the pendulum went, or you'd spin it and stop it with your finger, and whatever number you got, you would check on the table below, and that would be your little fortune cookie. So this one is one that I created myself because I didn't like any of the examples that they had in the book, because I am all about homebrew. So this is called the Tablet of the Sibyl. There are 16 options, and it could just as easily be used with a roll of a die. We will be selling this one off. It does have my rather outdated signature and the date. Oh, there we go. 89. Okay, cool. Yeah, I've been doing this for a while.
You really have got some chops there.
These are specifically from Inspiration House, and I think that we will sell them as a set. When things happened in 2020 and I couldn't really be present for classes and workshops with people anymore, but people still wanted like a sort of like semi-guided experience at Inspiration House, I wrote up little like workshop things and little exercises that I spread out among the house. So as you explored, you would open up a drawer or you would turn to a dresser, and in like a room next to the bed, you would see a meditation. Like, imagine your psychic ability is a door within your mind. Clearly picture this door until you feel as if you could touch it. Turn the handle and open the door. Journal about what you perceive beyond the door. So they're simple little exercises. That's my handwriting, by the way. That is as neat as it gets. Here's one on the psychic aptitude cards. This one's fun. This is your sensory language. These are all really good journal exercises. Using the inverted pyramid below as a guide, rank which of your physical senses you are most likely to interpret your psychic experiences through, from most to least. This gives you an idea of your internal symbolic language and your internal sensory language. So if you're one of those people where you don't see things in your mind's eye or see things out in the world, but you're really scent-based, you will know that if everybody else around you is seeing a ghost, but you smell white diamonds, you are probably also perceiving the spirit just on a different level and in a way that appeals more strongly to you and how you function. The tarot exercise went with the tarot deck. Shuffle an open deck of tarot cards. Select one card. Take a few minutes to study the image carefully without checking to see what it means. Write in your journal how the card makes you feel and any meaning the image communicates to you. This was something that we did in person with one of the tarot workshops that we did at Inspiration House, because although there are absolutely traditional meanings associated with the cards, I am firmly in the camp with the tarot that the real appeal is that the images, the pictures on the cards, they speak to us. They encapsulate uh, a deep, layered, nuanced set of symbols and meanings and associations. And getting to know your deck before you even go digging around with like what it's supposed to mean, and instead develop a dialogue with how it speaks to you, is one of the best ways to really, really bond with the cards. So these 4 little exercises, tarot, sensory, meditation, psychic aptitude, will all be in a little pile themselves. Since it references the psychic aptitude cards, would we want to bundle this with a? Yeah, I think we will bundle this with a thing of psychic aptitude cards. You're on your own for the tarot because I think it's important that you have tarot that speaks to you and whose art you chose. So I will leave that up to you. I think these 2 will go together.
Yeah, I've been.
Yeah. Okay, so this is actually one of the only haunted dolls who hasn't found a home yet. She is very gently haunted. There is, by my perception, a quiet presence in this doll. I don't know from whom or why, but there is a little bit of a sentience here. She is not loud. She's not loud. She's not pushy. She's not scary. She just has a sort of, I don't know, quiet elegance to her. So you will have her, and at the bottom you will see one of the few things left. So the collection of dolls at Inspiration House all had painter's tape on the bottom with basically haunted or not. The key is this thing here. Again, you will recognize the little fancies that I wrote my stuff up on. The key was H for haunted, R for residual, N just a doll. And the difference between haunted and residual was haunted felt like there was an intelligence there. So something's going on with her. Like I said, she is not a scary haunted doll. I like her quite a bit. But I feel like she deserves to be somewhere where she can have a regular dialogue with people. If she's here with us, she's just going to sit on a shelf. And that's no fun. That's no fun at all.
No fun, a doll.
So, yeah. That will also be up on the thing. Rhea, my God.
She's dangerous.
Dangerous to herself. Oh, she is very tall.
Yeah, she is. That bum on the back of her head. Challenging.
Okay. Let's see. What else do we have? This is not paranormal. This is pure fandom. How many of you watched Hannibal, the TV series, the really fun TV series? So when I was at Dragon Con a couple of years in a row, I was on panels related to Hannibal and the Hannibal fandom, and these were little giveaways from folks in the fandom. So this was from Hannibal's Kitchen, which was, I think, a book that went along with it. And it is a bunch of recipes, and they're written up as recipe cards. So they are supposedly, in Mr. Hannibal's handwriting.
How fancy.
None of them call for human flesh.
Oh.
But we've got braised ox cheeks with port, prosciutto, beef cheek, and red wine ragu, venison heart tartare. These are also recipes and things that you saw on the show. Grilled lamb's testicles, tripe soup, and cooking directions for tripe soup, plus a little thing of just like art. So this was a collector's set for the Hannibal fandom. One of the cool things about doing conventions like Dragon Con and whatnot is, the people promoting these shows and people who are like deep in the fandom, and also the celebrities would show up with swag that you can only get at the convention. And this is one of those. So if you were really into Hannibal, this will be a fun little thing to get. Bless you, cat. That's already been talked
Yeah.
about. Ba, 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 ba.
I think some of the half-size booklets have not.
Yeah, no, these are so these are long ago and far away. There were like some really nifty indie publishing companies and rare book places, and this was one of the ones that I got some of my early stuff from, that you can still find in the thing. I hung on to them. They're just catalogs of the books that they had in their collection. I hung on to them because there's some of them are books that are worth trying to track down again. You can see some of my notes in them. These are from 2004, probably 2002. Holmes Publishing was based out of Washington State. They have been sitting in a drawer with a lot of incense in it, so they have that distinct scent of like that almost Nag Champa smell that you are probably accustomed to smelling from any occult store in the 90s and early 2000s. But they are a selection of rare, scarce, secondhand, and new books. And hey, maybe you can track some of the books that are in here down. Oops. On the topic of indie publishers and boutique publishers and unusual things, Scarlet Imprint is a more recent one. This was from their Red Goddess limited edition, and they released a bunch of like little prints along with it. I do not know if the stickers were part of that or if they were part of another thing, but this was, somebody sent me their, basically like their elite pack of the Red Goddess book. I have the book. I have no great use for this. If it is something that you are interested in, and just as a note, these are like little book plates. They say Ex Libris. There's a whole bunch of them. I can't tell if they're supposed to be sticky on the back. I have not attempted to make them be sticky on the back. I will leave that up to you. And then the back, this bit is Scarlet Imprint, publishers. They do a lot of edgier esoteric stuff. So like this, if you are familiar with the OTO and some of Crowley's stuff, like that's going to have some significance to you. Speaking of conventions, Game Master. This was my official badge. It's appropriate because I think Gen Con is this weekend. So this was when I ran a Vampire LARP at Gen Con in 2000. It was not by far my first Vampire LARP. I'd been running massive vampire live action role playing experiences at these conventions, Origins, Gen Con, and Con, and a couple of others, since 1995. So 95 through 2000, I was the person writing all of these characters. And when I say massive, let me explain that this wasn't like 20 people. I had to be prepared with characters for up to 200 people to play the LARP in our games, and had to devise a plot line, multiple plot lines with all of those characters and a theme that could sustain up to 200 people playing Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon. And we did it. And this is my badge. this is my yeah. Anyway, only when one is that young does one realize, like, think that is just a doable thing to take on and do it anyway. But this is me from Gen Con, and that will go up. We're gonna put a couple of lanyards from those times up because I've kept them, and they're sort of fun. Like they're nifty little memorabilia.
Do you want to reveal how many of them you've kept when you say a couple?
A couple.
100.
I've done a lot of conventions over the years, as it turns out.
Oh my gosh. So my thought,
oh god,
my thought had been that
okay,
we could put together a pack.
Okay, so Twilight
oh no.
is not is okay. So before Stephanie Meyer's Abomination came out.
Oh, yeah.
The Real Vampire Community had a conclave
Oh no.
that we called Twilight, because it was a mix of our dayside identities and our nightside identities.
And then did it turn to Nevermore?
We were just the first time somebody showed up thinking that we were a Twilight fan club, we were like, oh fuck no, we got to change this. This shit needs to be rebranded. But this is the one from Seattle, and this is my pass for that.
So many.
Let's see. Mid-South Paranormal. These are places that I was a speaker. Scarefest VIP. I think this is the one where I ended up headbanging to Rammstein, and there was one other person of the right age who was headbanging and as into Rammstein as me, and I learned it was D fucking Wallace. So me and D Wallace were headbanging to Rammstein at the VIP dance, and I was delighted that D Wallace knew what the hell Rammstein was. So there was that.
Oh my god.
So many things.
So my thought with these.
This is my mom's Joan of Arc little thing that's in here too. It was actually in her violin case.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
My thought with these, and we can talk it through before we put anything up on the website, is like to basically put together another sort of like fan collection.
Paranormal State field trip. They loved these stupid little jelly bracelets.
No.
There are so many of them.
But yeah, so like what I was thinking is like we could put together, you know, a book, a pack of cards, a unique one of a kind.
Here's some more Hannibal swag.
Oh no. Yeah. Do you think
guest of honor for
my love?
I don't even know.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah, no, I'm totally down for that. Cool. There's too much.
That's what we'll do.
There's too much.
Yeah. Like if we tried to list these individually, it would be wild.
Presenter at Kink event. This one, another Kink event, Winterfire, PantheaCon. Just actually looking at this, like I have done. No wonder I don't want to travel anymore. Jesus Christ! Like if Dragon Con 25 anniversary.
If each of these was a drive or a plane trip, that is a lot.
They were. Most of them. Most of them were drives. My rule was if it was 12 hours or less, I would drive. Yep. Just because I preferred the quiet in the car. Like I liked driving.
It's easier to bring swag too.
Yes, that was the other thing. The one time I tried to bring as a check bag books. They didn't get them to me until Monday when I was leaving. And they helped themselves to a bunch of them. So I just stopped doing that. Anyway, let's see. Ohio State Reformatory. Oh, God. Okay, so this one probably should go on its own. This is Mark and Debbie Constantino. And there's some stuff with that. More Dragon Con. So much Dragon Con. Oh, here's a Unicon VIP.
Nice.
Death, the Undiscovered Country. Backstage pass for Earn. Oh my God, there's so much. It's a whole.
This is what I mean by collectibles.
Where did you?
They were in. Okay, you know that big cabinet that had the drawer that we got rid of.
Oh God, I just chucked them
home?
all in there. Twilight Atlanta.
Yes, they were all in there.
Old Licking County Jail.
Then they were in the desk.
Oh my God,
rid of the desk.
Paranormal State lanyards.
So much.
VIP all access. Okay, the Paranormal State ones should probably go by themselves. But like the Dragon Con ones. So the Dragon Con ones, I think I still have program booklets for most of these Dragon Con ones. So if I can scare up the program booklets to match,
that should make it fun.
Yeah, that would be a fun thing. So the Spicola Vaticana is your mom.
That's my mom's. Okay,
because I was never in the Vatican. As much as that would have been fun, they would never have gotten me out of that library. Yeah, there's so much stuff.
Yeah.
So much stuff. Yeah. There's a couple of yours too.
That's right.
Oh, StokerCon.
Nice.
Anyway, so there's a ton of stuff here. Please take the box back before I just rabbit hole down into it.
Yep. Oh, there.
No, wow, so much stuff.
Yeah.
Seriously.
There really is. I know you had talked about a couple of things on here. I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I'll actually have to do a little write-up. This was at Inspiration House, and I assume most people just thought that it was broken and trash. But this was intentionally broken as part of a meditation to like become acquainted with your broken self, with the part of yourself that you feel is splintered off or that you view as broken, and to have a conversation of how to heal and what that broken part of you needs. So there's like a whole meditation that goes with this little guy. And in addition to that, it's kind of a cool little mirror. So that will go up with the write-up. Not overtly magical. This is something that my mom left me. It is Wedgwood, if you are familiar with collectible stuff. But this one, actually, if you are somebody who has, if you are pagan in a Greek or classically inspired way, the figures on this are very, Greek classics. And it is vaguely heart-shaped. It's just a little altar box with all these fancy little bits around them. It's hard to see here, but the Wedgwood stamp is there.
I think some of the framed photo things might be cool. Left side by the door.
Oh, yeah. Haha. There are several things that were framed at Inspiration House that were part of, again, the guided experience once I couldn't be the guide for people. So this is a bit on the Penfields. It would hang by the front stairs, the stairs that go upstairs, or up to the second level. And it would be like in that entry hallway. And it is about the Penfields. A little bit of their history, but also some of the experiences people reported having in the house. This one details the conversation that was heard between two of the resident spirits at Inspiration House in the parlors. This would go in the parlors between the couch and one of the chairs near the draperies that seem to be the subject of the conversation. And this is an icon. This will not be for everybody, just full warning. This is an icon of one of the 72 spirits of the Goetia. You can read about him in the Dictionary of Demons. This is called Marbus. This is how Marbus is described in multiple reports of the Solomonic material. Marbus is, by some people's reading of this material, a demon. I have different opinions based on how I've traced those things back to the spirits associated with the decans of the ancient Egyptian zodiac. So these are more daemons and tutelary spirits, but he is described as lion-headed, often winged, and has a very Mithraic and Abraxas sort of feel to him. And this icon was made as a focal point for one of the last public rituals that I ran at a convention before everything shut down. It was at Convocation in Michigan in February of 2020, as I was recovering from my first and so far only bout of COVID. And he was one of the things on the altar for this group ritual, invoking the spirits of the Goetia. So Marbus will come and be a focal point for you, or just some pretty art to put on your wall. Oh, let's see.
What do you think? Is there one more thing
one more.
Maybe from that central shelf. There's that cigar box. Trinkety-doos.
There's so many little trinkety-doos.
Yeah.
This one, so this is not directly connected to Paranormal State, or okay, it sort of is. Paranormal State would do events called field trips, and one of those field trips was in San Francisco, and I had a field day walking from the hotel to Chinatown and just immersing myself in the shops there. And there were just a bunch of like little figures and figurines that appealed to me. And this is just a curled up little dragon, and he is one of the only ones left from that trip. And he was one of my souvenirs of San Francisco when we did the San Francisco Paranormal State field trip. He or she or them, I didn't ask.
That's lovely.
Yeah. So that's a few things.
Yeah, a few things.
Yeah, we'll slowly get stuff up. Oh, I did want to say one of the other things that I will be working on rolling out that was inspired by up on the page now, you will see a little bag. It may have sold already, that had a key and a stone and a little sprig of rosemary in it, and it was just a little sachet for protection and grounding. I have a lot of herbs, and I have recently from the yard and wild harvested a bunch of mugwort and a bunch of lemon balm. Also, I managed to get like right in that tiny narrow window where the linden flowers were falling, and wild harvested a fair number of linden flowers. They are protective. So I will be, originally I'd been thinking about selling things off as for ritual bath. That's something that I used to do at conventions way back in like 1991 and 92, is I would make stuff for cleansing baths. I don't know about you. I take showers more often than not. Baths aren't always, economical or feasible. So I really started to noodle about it. And what I have come up with is a compromise. So these will be packets of herb, a curated selection of, usually in most cases, it's a selection of 3 herbs, all of which are things that you could drink as a tea, but I don't recommend doing it because like these are not gathered and processed to be a tea. Instead, you get a bowl, you steep the herbs in the bowl, and you do ritual ablution, which is a fancy word for washing yourself. Rather than a full bath, rather than trying to hang the herbs over the spigot and ensure that that's all getting in there, you will basically take the little packet of herbs, you'll put them in a bowl, you'll steep them for a while, you let it cool off, and then you'll splash it on your face and your neck. You'll anoint yourself with that, for protection, for cleansing, for opening your psychic abilities. There'll be several different things with that. And then there'll be a couple of additional packets that are more like just sort of keep this around as a charm bag. And it is, most of the focus is going to be protection, health, psychic attunement. So those are things that I am working on rolling out in the next couple of months. In between all the other projects, because there's a lot of projects.
Oh my gosh, are there?
There's so much stuff going on.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's not quite everything from
No, it's not. We got through a lot of stuff.
We will roll through and get it up as we can.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Goodness, what fun.
Oh, thank you. Oh God, the big box of lanyards though. Holy moly. No, really, seeing that.
Being willing to go
but seeing it as wow, I have done a lot. I have traveled a lot. I didn't keep souvenirs from a lot of those, but my name tags.
Yep. It's a heavy box.
Yeah, no, it's packed. It's packed, and I know that's not everything.
Oh boy.
That's not even close.
Where's the rest?
I didn't keep all of them.
Oh, okay. actually even scarier.
No, a lot of the pagan conventions, you give your things back.
Yeah.
So
Makes
they're not
sense.
in there because
Okay,
they would recycle stuff.
so recycling.
Hi, Ria.
Alrighty. I will wrap up the live stream. If anybody does want to lay claim or be like, I'm curious about how much that thing is, just shoot me a message or an email, and we'll figure it out over the next couple weeks.
Yeah, and I know, like, if I was putting things up on, do people even do eBay anymore? I don't think people do. Oh yeah, okay, but like
For sure.
yeah, we'll try to make sure that like they are priced affordably, but also priced in relation to like rarity.
All we can do. All right.
Ria's down here at my feet going.
She has things to say. Good night, everybody.
Bye.